What if the version of you that wakes up, plans your day, and thinks you're in control is just a puppet? What if your real decisions, your fears, desires, even your destiny are being secretly directed by a hidden force buried deep inside your mind? The shocking truth is, your unconscious might be steering everything and you don't even know it. You weren't born with a calm, logical mind capable of making thoughtful decisions. Long before humans could speak or plan or invent, we survived through instinct, a raw, ancient force that reacted before we could think. That force didn't disappear over time. It simply went underground, becoming what we now call the unconscious mind. Imagine you're standing in a dense forest thousands of years ago. You hear a sudden snap of a twig behind you. Before you choose anything, your body freezes, eyes widen, heart races. That instant reaction is not your conscious mind deciding what to do. It's your unconscious mind screaming danger, pulling the strings faster than thought. For early humans, this meant the difference between life and death. So nature, in its harsh brilliance, gave us a mental operating system that worked in the shadows, lightning fast, and outside our awareness. As civilization evolved, the dangers changed, but the unconscious stayed. Today, it's still processing millions of signals behind the curtain, sounds, smells, patterns, memories you don't even realize you're storing. While your conscious brain proudly believes it's running the show, while you're conning the show, the truth is brutal. Your unconscious makes the first move almost every time. It reacts before you think, stores everything you've ever felt, and gently nudges your behavior from beneath the surface. So where did this hidden power truly come from? It's a product of survival, a mental ghost passed down through generations. And even though lions no longer stalk you in the savannah, your unconscious still acts as if they might. That's why your heart races before a presentation, why someone's face feels untrustworthy without explanation, and why you can't stop repeating habits you hate. This silent puppeteer was born to protect you, but now it just might be controlling you. To truly understand how powerful your unconscious mind is, look at how it learns. From the moment you open your eyes as a newborn, your brain starts building a secret library. Every sound, facial expression, tone, and touch is recorded, not as clear memories, but as emotional blueprints. If someone smiled when you cried, your unconscious linked crying equals comfort. If someone yelled when you reached for something, it connected wanting equals danger. Long before language forms, your hidden mind is busy wiring belief systems that can shape your entire identity. Scientists now believe that up to 95% of your behaviors are driven by unconscious programming, created in your early years, patterns you never consciously chose. Think about that. You might proudly believe you've designed your personality, your taste, your habits, yet most of it was silently imprinted when you were too young to remember. It's not random. It's how your brain ensured survival. Create fast shortcuts, avoid repeated pain, gravitate toward what once brought safety. These early codes continue to run automatically in adulthood. You may think you're choosing your partner based on logic, but your unconscious is searching for familiar emotional patterns, not necessarily the healthiest ones. That's why some people keep repeating the same toxic relationships or self-sabotaging decisions. Until the deeper script changes, the story stays the same. The most chilling part? Your hidden mind doesn't communicate with words. It speaks through sensations, urges, instincts, dreams, and it never sleeps. While your conscious mind tires quickly, your unconscious tapes every conversation in the background, watching for threats, tracking everything you love, hate, or fear. It's working whether you like it or not. So while the conscious part of you believes it's steering the wheel, the reality is, it's often just reading a script that was written long ago, beneath awareness. And unless you discover how to rewrite that script, your life might not be as deliberate as you think. If the unconscious mind is so powerful, why are most people completely unaware of its influence? That's because your conscious brain has one major flaw. It loves to take credit. When you make a choice, your conscious mind quickly creates a logical story for why you did it. even if the real decision was made milliseconds earlier, deep below awareness. Psychologists call this the interpreter effect. It's the part of your brain that hates mystery, so it invents neat explanations to hide the uncomfortable truth that something else called the shots first. Modern neuroscience has caught this invisible force in the act. In famous experiments, scientists measured brain activity while asking people to press a button whenever they decided to. Shockingly, their brains were already preparing the action up to 7 seconds before the person thought they had consciously made the decision. The results were terrifying to many. Free will, it seemed, might just be an illusion produced after the unconscious has already pulled the trigger. So what's really happening behind the curtain? Your unconscious runs entire systems simultaneously: emotional reactions, body language, memory processing, and automatic behaviors, then sends the final result up to your consciousness like a completed report. You don't think your way into most decisions. You feel, react, sense, and then rationalize. Still, this mysterious force is not your enemy. It's the reason you can catch a ball without calculating physics, read someone's mood in a split second, or sense danger before seeing proof. It's fast, efficient, and ancient. But there's a catch. Because it operates through old survival patterns, it can't tell the difference between real and imagined threats, meaning it might trigger chaos even when you're safe. In the rest of this journey, we'll uncover how this hidden architect continues shaping your life, and how this hidden architect continues shaping your life, and continues shaping your life, and how, once you learn its secrets, you can start influencing it instead of being controlled by its unseen programming. You wake up and think you're making your own choices: what to wear, what to eat, who to text. But most of those decisions are already made before your conscious mind even joins the conversation. Your unconscious has been scanning, sorting, and nudging you toward familiar patterns with such subtlety that you feel in control, even when you're clearly not. Take something as simple as choosing clothes. You might believe you went for style or comfort, but your unconscious was busy filtering dozens of associations. What others once praised you for wearing, what your parents approved of, what got you attention, what helped you stay invisible. Before your conscious mind even looks at the closet, the unconscious reduces all options based on past emotional outcomes, leaving you with just a handful to choose from. And by then, the real selection has already happened. This unseen operation doesn't just manage small tasks. It plays the same trick with major life moves: jobs, friendships, romantic partners. You aren't consciously searching for what's best. Your unconscious is quietly seeking what's familiar. If chaos was familiar in childhood, you'll unconsciously gravitate toward chaos as an adult, even if it hurts you. If neglect felt normal, you might repeatedly fall for people who emotionally abandon you. The pull isn't logical. It's emotional programming hijacking your decisions with invisible strings. Neuromarketers know this terrifying truth well. That's why brands spend billions studying the unconscious triggers that make you buy without thinking. From the color of a logo to the sound of a notification, your purchase decision is usually made seconds before you tell yourself a believable story to justify it. I bought it because it was on sale, you say. In reality, you bought because your unconscious associated that brand with approval, status, or childhood comfort, and you never noticed. So the next time you proudly declare, "I know exactly why I chose this," pause. The real reason might be whispering from a deeper place, one you've never truly met. To see how deeply the unconscious shapes your life, look at the moments you call intuition, those sudden feelings that someone is trustworthy, that something is wrong, or that an opportunity just feels right. Most people believe intuition is a gift or a mystical sixth sense, but it's really your unconscious mind rapidly comparing your current situation to countless past emotional memories. It's pattern recognition on a level so fast your conscious mind can't comprehend it. By the time your gut speaks, your hidden mind has already calculated its verdict. This lightning-fast system is valuable, but dangerously imperfect. Because your unconscious forms patterns based on emotional experience, not truth, your intuition can be wildly misleading. If you grew up around unpredictable people, your unconscious may wrongly label calm, stable personalities as boring and chaos as exciting. You'll swear you're following your heart while unknowingly chasing trauma. And because your conscious brain hates being wrong, it defends these mistaken instincts, often pushing you further into unhealthy decisions. Consider how often you find yourself saying, "I knew I shouldn't have trusted that person," or "something felt off from the start." That feeling wasn't magic. It was your unconscious quietly waving a red flag based on fragments your eyes and ears picked up before you understood why. It recognized a vocal tone that once hurt you, a gesture that reminded you of betrayal, a micro-expression that signaled danger. The problem is, it doesn't tell you why. It only produces a strong emotional push. Your conscious mind is left scrambling to interpret, often getting the meaning completely wrong. Marketers, politicians, and even social media apps take advantage of this. They don't try to change your rational opinion. They target the emotional triggers stored in your unconscious sphere: desire, belonging, envy, so you'll react automatically without stopping to think. Until you become aware of this process, you're not truly deciding, you're being primed. Every habit you repeat, even the ones you hate, is proof of your unconscious mind at work. You might consciously swear you want to wake up early, eat healthier, stop scrolling at 3 a.m. Yet there you are, again, stuck in the same loop. That isn't weakness. That's programming. Your unconscious mind doesn't care what's good for you. It only cares what's familiar. Whatever you've done the most becomes stamped as safe. That's why breaking a habit feels like tearing away from gravity. You're not just resisting a behavior, you're going head-to-head with an ancient system designed to keep you inside what it knows. This also explains why personal growth is uncomfortable, even when it's exciting. The moment you start making new choices, speaking up, setting boundaries, chasing opportunities, your unconscious triggers discomfort. It whispers, "This is new. This is unsafe." You then feel sudden self-doubt, fear, anxiety, and assume these feelings mean you should stop. But they are just warning signals from your unconscious, desperately trying to pull you back into the old pattern. Because staying predictable equals survival in its primitive logic. Ironically, this resistance grows the fastest the moment you're about to level up. People often sabotage themselves right before big breakthroughs, quitting just before success, ghosting someone who truly loves them, spending recklessly after saving for months. To the conscious mind, it looks crazy, but to the unconscious, it makes perfect sense. It's trying to restore the emotional baseline it believes is normal. Understanding this truth is both unsettling and liberating. It means your life's direction isn't determined by what you consciously want, but by what your unconscious believes you are allowed to have. Until you make this hidden programming visible and rewrite it, you'll keep choosing the same reality, even when you swear you want something different. Your unconscious mind is not just a storage room for instincts and habits. It's also a vault for everything you've tried to bury. Painful memories, embarrassing moments, anger you never expressed, fears too overwhelming to face. When your conscious mind can't cope, it quietly pushes them underground. But nothing buried stays peaceful forever. Inside your unconscious, these suppressed emotions continue to live, twisting themselves into hidden beliefs that silently shape the way you feel, react, and behave. Think of a time you overreacted to something small, snapping at a friend, panicking over a minor mistake, suddenly feeling anxious for no clear reason. Chances are, the trigger wasn't the moment in front of you, but a deeper wound stored inside your unconscious, finally cracking through the surface. Your logical brain says, "Why am I like this?" While your hidden mind whispers, "Because you never healed from that." This is how self-sabotage begins, when unhealed pain secretly steers your choices and convinces you to pull away from what you consciously crave. The most dangerous part? These unconscious shadows don't speak in language. They speak in patterns. If you were once abandoned, you might unconsciously start drama to test if someone will leave, Because the pain of abandonment feels safer when you control it. If you grew up never feeling good enough, you might sabotage your own success right when things are going well, not because you're afraid of failure, but because your unconscious believes you don't deserve happiness. You call yourself lazy, emotional, inconsistent, when in truth your unconscious is simply protecting you with outdated strategies. This hidden sabotage doesn't come from a place of evil. It comes from a place of fear. To your unconscious, staying in familiar pain feels safer than risking the unknown. But the longer these shadows remain unexposed, the more power they have to quietly destroy the things you are trying to build. The unconscious mind doesn't just store pain, it protects it. Like a loyal guard dog, it stands between you and anything it believes might reopen an old wound, even if that thing looks positive on the surface. That's why you might push away love when you deeply crave connection. Avoid success when you dream of achievement, or procrastinate when opportunities arrive. You're not broken. Your unconscious is simply trying to keep you safe based on outdated data. Let's say you were mocked as a child for speaking your mind. Your unconscious tagged visibility as dangerous. Years later, when you're offered a chance to shine, a promotion, a stage, even a compliment, that old program spits out anxiety, sweaty palms, racing thoughts. Consciously, you want to accept. But unconsciously, your system screams, hide. One part of you pushes forward, the other pulls away. This inner tug-of-war explains why so many people feel stuck. They are trying to outrun an enemy that's actually living inside them. Another common pattern is emotional numbing. If your past was filled with chaos or trauma, your unconscious may blunt your feelings so you can survive. You stop celebrating wins, stop crying when hurt, stop feeling fully present. It's a smart defense mechanism in the short term, but over time, it steals your capacity for joy, passion, and healthy connection. You walk through life on emotional autopilot, wondering why nothing truly excites you anymore. The cruel truth is this: what protected you back then could be destroying you now. But it's hard to fight what you cannot see. These invisible saboteurs can only lose their power when dragged into the light of your conscious awareness. The first step is recognizing that your destructive patterns are not failures of willpower. They are old emotional survival codes still running beneath the surface. Every time you repeat a painful cycle, choosing the wrong person, quitting right before a breakthrough, retreating when life opens up, your unconscious is trying to resolve something unfinished from your past. This is called repetition compulsion. It means your hidden mind keeps dragging you back into situations that emotionally resemble old wounds, hoping to finally gain control over them. That's why you might be drawn toward people who treat you like your parents did, or recreate stressful environments that feel oddly comfortable even as they drain you. You think you're cursed, but really, you're seeking emotional closure in unhealthy places. Even your dreams are part of this process. Nightmares, racing dreams, falling, losing teeth, they aren't random chaos. They're your unconscious using symbolism to process what your conscious mind avoids. The same happens in your daydreams. Sudden fantasies of escape, power, revenge, or failure are all clues revealing what your hidden mind obsessively circles around. The more you dismiss these signals, the louder your unconscious will act out through anxiety, depression, chronic procrastination, or burnout. It's not trying to ruin your life, it's screaming for your attention. But here's the breakthrough. Once you start observing your patterns without judgment, things begin to shift. When you catch yourself sabotaging, instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" ask, "What old pain is my unconscious trying to protect?" That question alone can break the automatic chain reaction before it drags you back under. Awareness begins to shine light where shadows ruled. In the next chapter, we'll go beyond understanding and move into transformation. Because while your unconscious was wired long ago, it is not unchangeable. Yes, it is powerful. Yes, it has silently ruled your life for years. But with the right methods, you can begin to reprogram your hidden patterns and turn your biggest inner enemy into your greatest source of strength. If your unconscious mind is powerful enough to control your fears, sabotage your success, and run 95% of your life, then the most important question becomes, can you reprogram it? The answer is yes, but not through logic, motivation, or willpower alone. Your hidden mind doesn't understand those languages. It responds only to emotion, repetition, and environment, the very tools that built its programming in the first place. To change it, you must begin speaking its language. The first key is repetition. Think of your unconscious as a field. Whatever you plant and water consistently becomes your emotional reality. Most people accidentally water seeds of anxiety, failure, and self-hatred by repeating negative thoughts all day long, eventually turning them into permanent beliefs. To overwrite those, you must repetitively feed your unconscious new instructions. Listening to powerful affirmations isn't silly, it's science. When emotion-heavy words are repeated often enough, your unconscious begins to tag them as truth. Say something once, it means nothing. Say it every day with certainty, and your hidden mind will eventually accept it as a command. The second key is visualization. Your unconscious can't separate imagination from reality. If you close your eyes and vividly imagine a humiliating moment, your body reacts with real stress. That works the other way too. When you regularly visualize success, safety, wealth, powerful boundaries, loving connection, your unconscious believes these experiences are already happening and starts shifting your behavior to match them. This is why elite athletes, CEOs, and performers swear by mental rehearsal, because it trains their unconscious to expect victory. The third, often overlooked key is your environment. Your surroundings constantly feed silent cues to your unconscious mind. If your room, friends, digital feeds, and music reinforce old patterns, your reprogramming attempts will struggle. Alter your atmosphere, upgrade what your eyes, ears, and heart are exposed to, and your unconscious begins shifting automatically in response. While repetition, visualization, and environment are the foundation, the real transformation happens when you combine them with emotion. Your unconscious mind doesn't respond to empty words. It listens to feeling. That's why repeating affirmations without truly feeling them rarely works. But the moment you charge those words with emotion, excitement, pride, awe, desire, your unconscious wakes up and starts paying attention. It's the emotional charge that burns new beliefs into the deeper layers of your mind. One powerful tool for this is identity scripting. Instead of telling yourself what you want, start telling your unconscious who you already are. Don't repeat, I want to be confident. Instead say, I am a confident, calm person who handles anything. Speak it out loud, write it down, imagine it every day until your unconscious starts letting go of the old insecure identity and rewires itself to match the new one. You'll notice subtle shifts, your posture changes, your voice steadies, your decisions grow bolder, not because you're pretending, but because your unconscious is finally updating the internal blueprint it's been using to run your behavior. Another method is pattern interruption. Since your unconscious loves repetition, you can weaken its control by deliberately doing something different whenever you feel yourself slipping into an old habit loop. If you always react with anger, pause and whisper something soothing. If you always binge eat when stressed, interrupt the pattern by stepping outside, splashing cold water on your face, or playing a song that snaps you into a different emotional state. These small disruptions confuse the unconscious, just enough to loosen old wiring, giving you a chance to rewire with a better response. Lastly, use the power of language precision. Words you casually use every day. I'm broke. I'm unlucky. I'm stupid are working like dark affirmations, programming your unconscious to keep you there. Start speaking as the version of yourself you want to become, even before you see evidence. The unconscious doesn't care about evidence, it follows emotional instructions. As you train your unconscious using repetition, emotion, and deliberate pattern shifts, something remarkable begins to happen. Your external reality slowly reshapes itself to match your new internal blueprint. Suddenly, the opportunities you once ignored begin to stand out. People treat you differently without knowing why. You start acting in alignment with the person you've been telling your unconscious you are. This isn't magic, it's neuroplasticity. Your brain is literally rewiring, carving new mental pathways while allowing the old ones to weaken from lack of use. But progress isn't always smooth. During reprogramming, your unconscious may trigger powerful resistance, sudden tiredness, chaotic emotions, endless distractions. This is completely normal. It's the mind's way of testing your commitment to change. Most people quit here, assuming the discomfort means something is wrong, when actually, it's proof that something is finally shifting. If you push through this turbulence and remain consistent, you break the old loop and install a new one. That's how your unconscious moves from saboteur to ally. Another advanced tool is ritual building. Your unconscious loves routines. When you design small symbolic rituals, like lighting a candle before journaling, walking at sunrise, placing success triggers around your workspace, you create anchors. These anchors tell your unconscious, we are entering a new identity. Over time, merely performing the ritual flips you into a powerful mental state with no conscious effort required. This is why the world's most successful people guard their morning routines, not because they're magical, but because those repeated actions keep their unconscious fixed on who they choose to be. The truth is brutal yet empowering. Your unconscious built your current life. But once you learn how to speak its language, you can use the same machinery to build an entirely new reality, one that reflects not where you came from, but where you decide to go next. You now know the unconscious mind isn't just some background process. It's the architect of your life. And for most people, that architect is building from old, unexamined blueprints filled with fear, pain, and inherited beliefs. But here's the most important truth. You don't have to destroy your unconscious to master it. You have to make peace with it. The goal isn't to silence this hidden part of yourself. It's to develop a relationship with it. Think of your unconscious like a wild animal that was trained by chaos. It's not evil, it's scared. It clings to old habits because it believes they'll protect you. When you ignore it, it acts out through sabotage. But when you acknowledge it, speak to it, guide it, work with it, it starts to trust you. That's when it becomes an ally instead of a threat. This shift starts with radical self-honesty. Instead of judging your behaviors, the procrastination, the emotional triggers, the repeated bad choices, begin asking, what part of me is still scared? What part of me believes I don't deserve better? This inner questioning pulls your unconscious pain into conscious awareness, where it can finally be healed. You cannot transform what you refuse to face. Once you become aware of your inner patterns, you no longer react blindly. You respond intentionally. Instead of being yanked around by old emotions, you pause and observe them. That pause, even if it's just a few seconds, is where power begins. It means your conscious mind is stepping in, gently taking the wheel from the unconscious, and saying, we're doing things differently now. From there, mastery becomes a process of daily guidance, not perfection. You'll still stumble, still fall into old habits now and then. But each time you'll return faster with more awareness, more compassion for yourself, and more control over what happens next. The true power of mastering your unconscious mind lies in integration, accepting that both the light and shadow sides of yourself are part of the whole. We live in a world that often promotes an image of perfect, flawless, uncheckable, always happy. But that image is a myth. True mastery doesn't come from eradicating pain or fear. It comes from learning how to sit with discomfort, embracing the lessons hidden within your emotional wounds, and integrating them into your life's narrative. Think about it. The darkest, most painful parts of your unconscious aren't there by mistake. They contain buried wisdom. When you face those fears head-on and stop running from the uncomfortable emotions, your unconscious stops seeing them as threats. Instead, it learns that these emotions can be processed, released, and transformed into something powerful. This is why personal growth isn't linear. It's an ongoing journey of meeting the parts of yourself you'd rather ignore and embracing them as allies rather than enemies. Part of this process involves self-compassion. You cannot master your unconscious through force or willpower alone. You need to treat yourself with the same kindness that you'd offer to a loved one who's struggling. When you slip into old habits or react in ways you regret, don't beat yourself up. Instead, acknowledge the pattern, understand where it comes from, and choose a new path moving forward. By practicing self-compassion, you retrain your unconscious mind to release shame, guilt, and fear, making room for healthier, more empowered responses. Additionally, continuous self-reflection is key. Your unconscious mind won't change overnight. It's a deep, intricate system that has been programmed for years. That's why daily practices like journaling, meditation, or mindfulness are crucial. They help you stay grounded, observe your reactions, and steer your life consciously. In doing so, you'll notice that the more you nurture this awareness, the easier it becomes to choose how to respond to any given situation, instead of reacting out of old, automatic habits. Mastering your unconscious mind is not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming fully yourself. And to do that, you must dismantle the illusions that have quietly controlled your life from behind the curtain. These illusions often show up as inherited beliefs. I'm not good enough. Success is dangerous. Love always leads to pain. The moment you start questioning these ideas, you weaken their grip. One of the most effective tools here is pattern recognition. Start asking yourself, why do I keep ending up in the same type of relationships? Why do I sabotage myself right before I achieve something big? Why does praise make me uncomfortable? The answers often lie in experiences so deeply buried in your past that you don't even remember them consciously. But your unconscious remembers. It always does. Recognizing these patterns isn't about blaming others or feeling broken. It's about realizing that your mind has been doing its best to protect you, even if its methods were outdated or misguided. The final stage of this mastery is conscious reprogramming. Once you've uncovered the unconscious stories running your life, you can begin to rewrite them, not with fake positivity, but with grounded truth. Start small. Change the way you talk to yourself. Catch that inner voice when it says, "You always fail," and replace it with, "I've struggled, but I'm learning and growing." Visualization techniques, affirmations rooted in truth, and even hypnosis can help reinforce these new beliefs. But the most powerful change happens when your actions align with your new identity. If your unconscious says, "You're weak," but you choose to stand up for yourself in a hard conversation, you've just rewritten a piece of your inner script. And every time you do this, you take back control. Not by suppressing your darkness, but by embracing it, by transforming it into a source of strength, resilience, and clarity. You've always had the key. You just didn't know where it was hidden. Mastering your unconscious mind is not an overnight task. It's a lifelong journey of self-discovery, growth, and transformation. The good news is, every step you take toward awareness, every moment you choose to reprogram old habits and patterns, is a victory. The more you embrace your unconscious mind, the more it becomes a source of strength rather than an enemy. The truth is, you are far more in control than you've ever realized. Your unconscious is not some mysterious force beyond your reach. It's a tool, a reflection of your deepest beliefs and fears. With awareness, patience, and the right techniques, you can reshape it to reflect the powerful, confident, and successful person you truly are. But it all starts with choosing to see the truth about yourself, your mind, and the forces that have shaped your reality. So, what will you do next? Will you continue to let the unconscious steer your life, or will you take the wheel and begin consciously creating the future you've always wanted? If you found this video helpful and insightful, be sure to subscribe to Marjan Al-Nalar for more content that empowers you to break free from the shadows and become the master of your mind. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss out on the next step of your journey to self-mastery. Remember, the key to changing your life lies within you. Unlock it today.